Everyone. So if you watched my Instagram, you saw that I made this little Christmas gnome. I used a sewing machine to make a few different pieces of the gnome, and I know that not everyone has access to a sewing machine, so I spent a couple days to figure out how to do it without a sewing machine. So for this craft tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this little gnome without using a sewing machine to make the outfit. And I'll just tell you now that the boots you can order on Amazon. They're craft mini Santa boots. I think if you just type that into Amazon, that's how you get the boots. For this example, I'm going to show you how to make one using just items you can get from your local craft store. So the first thing you'll need is the material that you're going to use to make the outfit. And I like the hat and the outfit, the dress, or the whatever you want to call the lower part. I like them to match. So I'm going to use the same material. You're also going to need some fur trim or fun fur to make the beard, and I'll show you how to cut that out so that it has the right angle to it. You will need some craft beads. These are just wooden beads that come in various sizes. I have a small one here and a large one. I think that the large one looks better for this particular size. You'll need a pom-pom of your color choosing for the hat, a pair of scissors. Now this is the part that I feel makes this gnome so easy. So you can make a no-sew gnome with a sock if you want to, but I find this to be the most efficient, easiest way to do it. So this is kind of my little how-to gnome hack. And then you'll also need some craft wire to help give the hat some shape. We'll also need our handy-dandy glue gun. And I've gone ahead and cut out the pattern, but I'm going to show you how I did this for the tree. So what I did was I just laid a piece of fabric down on the edge, and then I rolled the tree into it, and then I cut this piece, and then I sort of traced along the bottom, rounded out. I'm going to use the pattern to cut out the material. So just like I did last time, I'm going to find the edge, because it's easier to work with a straight edge. So now we're done with the fabric until we make the hat. You'll want to make sure that your tree is going to fit. The thing about the glue gun and the styrofoam is that if your glue gun is really hot, it is going to melt the styrofoam. So that's something that you definitely want to be aware of. Just running a line of glue on my material here, and then just going to give it a second so that I don't melt my styrofoam. And then I'm just going to press it on there so that as it adheres, it glues to the styrofoam without melting. And then you'll run another line of glue on the other side. And that will give it a chance to cool down, and then you just go ahead and roll your fabric and keep it tight as possible as you're rolling, and then there you go. And just like that, now your little foam cone is starting to look like a little gnome. So now what you can do is take this part and cut it off, basically. Now we'll attach the beard. So what I would recommend doing is measuring where you want the beard to sit roughly. So that is about 9.5 inches. And I'm going to cut 10 inches just to be safe. 10 inches. So we want to be about here when we finish up. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut. Now as I'm cutting, I'm being very cautious to sort of snip the fabric and not the long hair of the beard. I left the hair intact here, and that way as it folds around, it will maintain the beard look. Now we're going to turn this into a triangle. Make sure the hair is going down the way so that you don't cut the beard upside down. This is what the finished product will look like, and you don't actually have to come right to a point on the beard if you find yourself a little bit off, you can just sort of round it out, just as long as you're not cutting that hair, because you really want it to have that triangular shape. So now, just to show you how it's going to look, so we'll find the same spot that we were at by just sort of measuring where the beard sits. And it is going to overlap a little bit at the back, but we planned for that, right? That's why we cut it a little bigger, so that it just looks very seamless when it's all said and done. We will go ahead and I would recommend putting half of the glue on the one side and then putting the other half on once it's already on. So you can see the gnome starting to take shape. Now I would recommend adding the button nose, and the way to do that properly is to just separate the hair a bit and then place it when the hair is separated. Now we're going to work on the hat. First we want to measure around the area. So I've cut to 8 inches, and then what you want to do is fold your fabric over and cut on an angle upwards, and then you'll end up with a triangle. So now we have our hat, and then we will hot glue one side and roll the corner over, and then we'll just repeat that process. That's just get started. And that's why I gave myself 2 extra inches, so that I had some plain image. And now we'll just repeat the process. Okay, so now after you've glued it, this is the hat you're left with. And then when we put the pom-pom on, we're going to just fold this part under. So we'll fold it under now, and then the pom-pom will hide the fold. So first we're going to lay the hat aside, and now we're going to work on the base of the gnome to make sure that the fabric lays flat. So we're going to cut the majority of the fabric away so that we can glue it down and it will sit flat on a surface. So whatever you need to remove to do that, go ahead and make that happen. And I would start with the front so that you can get that part smooth right from the beginning. So there you go. There is the base all put together, and now we will just attach the hat. And as you can see, I just pulled the base tight so that there's as few wrinkles as possible around the bottom. Here's where the wire will come into play. So what I want to do here is just measure the wire about the length of the hat. So we've cut our piece of wire about the length of the hat, and then what I would do is just put a little dollop of glue on the hat, on the inside of the hat, and sit your wire in there. And then you can just push it down to give the hat some vibe. And then, because we've put the wire in, the hat is moldable, so you can make it do whatever you'd like. And then we'll add the pom-pom. So for this one, I'm going to use the white pom-pom, and we will just stick it on like that. And that is your finished gnome product. And there you have it. Pretty easy.